Rated M.
Alright, looks like we're ready to go. So today I have a little bit of some fun things in order. We are going to do my submission, I guess. We're going to attempt to do my submission for the Multidimensional challenge. Now I have an idea, but I didn't want to develop it too much so that we could do as much as possible on the stream. But I wanted to have a plan, so I'm not just flailing around. So we're gonna start with that, and then we're just gonna try to make. So we'll just go through the plan, I guess, like step by step, and sort of break things down. This is something that now that I'm getting. Hey there, hey there. I guess good morning in Australia, is it right? Yeah, it's good evening for me. I had a crazy morning, but we'll probably talk more about all the little tidbits that I've come up with when I start coding, because that's when I get more happily distracted. So we'll just do multi. So this is our multi. Oh, it's not hyphenated. Oh gosh. Okay, multi-dimensional challenge. So I'm actually just going to go for the simplest case, like I said, because I have more free time, but I want to kind of get back into figuring out how to use Unity and stuff, and I want to get better at using that tool, so before I start making things that are more complex, go simple. That's why we made a silly little cat, and that's why the bat didn't really work out yesterday. So this is what we're doing today. The underline looks gross. Okay, so we're going to start with the simplest case. I thought, what could we do for, let's see. Oh, is my screen cut off a little? Okay. You know what? Let's just undo the little full screen thing. Oh, God. Oh, God. Actually, maybe it's better to have it like this. Go like that, and then move this, and then move it up. Okay, maybe this is just as well. All right. Now, I was thinking I would do a 1D game where a component of it is in one dimension, because I feel like that's not used as much. Post tweets once I'm actually streaming. Okay, I'll do that. Hi there. Hi there. So I'm never really quite sure how, like, the best way to alert people, because I don't want to spam people, like, every day and, like, that to be like all I tweet about or whatever. But then I also feel like if I just say streaming in 5 minutes, then a lot of people will just miss it, because it's not like everyone, I don't know, maybe you are just sitting on your Twitter account like, oh my god, need the updates. So this is what I had in mind. It's 1D and we shift to 2D. So I'm going to do this both ways. So my thought was, and we'll see how this works, but I just wanted to draw it out. So let's say, I guess this is a bullet point, but I'm going to draw a picture. So this is our 1D plane. And even though, we're not allowed to have like a 2D sprite, we'll just have like this little guy. I'm going to use the cat that I made in the other stream as my 2D cat. But let's say we just have a cat head that's 1D. We'll just pretend it's a dot. So it just has an X position. So he just has an X position, X cat, I guess. Not that we need to write that right now. And this will be a 1D projection of some 2D world. So let's say we have a 2D world over here. So this is our 1D version. This is our 2D version. Now I was thinking, should I do top down or more like a Mario platformer style? But I thought probably Mario platformer is a little bit easier. So let's say, for example, our cat is here, and he's going to be like an actual 2D cat. And I am going to spend a lot of time making him look nice, because what's the point of making a game if your doodles aren't going to look nice? Okay. He has his whiskers. All right, so this is our cat, and he's in the same position. So now we have X cat, and then we'll just say like his Y when he's on the ground just equals like 0 or something. This will probably actually change. But so our cat is here. And then let's say in this 2D world, we have some sort of wall over here. And so in the 2D world, we could say this is like a brick block or something. Hopefully you guys get that. Well, I'll do a question mark because people are used to seeing those kind of blocks. So let's say this is our barrier right here. And so we have X block right here. And then this would translate over here as also X block. So we'd see a barrier over here, but we wouldn't necessarily know like where it is. So what I mean by that is if we have a block here, in 1D, we can't pass it. But in 2D, we could jump over it. But the block could also, here's an alternative scenario, at least in like my system, because we are taking some liberties with the math. So let's say, okay, I'm gonna spend a bit less time on the cat. Okay, here's Kitty. Oh God, he looks very sad. Let's say our block is up here. When we project this into 1D, so there's two ways to think about it, and this is what I was thinking about. One way to look at it is 1D is just a slice, so we could say the 1D line is just this line at y equals 0. Or we could say we're projecting everything down. So pretend we're looking at a top-down view, and then this whole thing is like a slice. Does that make sense? So if there was a z-axis in this like fake 2D world, if we had a z-axis, instead of projecting along the y like this, like taking these slices, we're gonna project along the z. Does that make sense? But there's only one value of z. Does that make sense? So anything that goes top down, if we're looking at it from an above view, so let me show that view. I mean, actually, yeah, this is what the above view would look like. So I'm thinking of doing that this is not the projection of a slice like this, because if we did that, then, okay, maybe to illustrate what I mean, let's say this is y equals 1 up here. This is y equals 0 over here. This would be a projection of y equals 1. We'd have no cat, and then we just have a block. So if this would be like y equals 1 along this line, and then y equals 0 would have the cat. And it just basically looks like this, but like recreated. Okay, so hopefully I think everyone gets what I mean. We're going to do a top-down, we're going to do a top-down 1D view that then shifts into a 2D view. So why is this interesting? Well, I don't know yet, but we're going to keep going with this idea because I kind of have a little bit of an idea. So let's say the goal of the game is to try and collect coins or points or something. Yeah, so that's the question. Why would we even want to go to 1D? So this is a bit forced, but I'm just trying to play with the idea a bit. And you know, we're always going to make like silly things before we make good things. So let's say we have a coin right here. We have a coin right here, but let's say we can only view them in 1D. In 2D, they're invisible. Why? You would say because that doesn't make a lot of sense, because it would seem like you'd be able to see less in 1D than 2D, because it's a game and it's magic. We'll think of a very intricate lore reason why the coins only appear in this dimension, you know. But so let's say we know it's in 1D, and let's say the cat is limited to just the y equals 1, y equals 0. Let's pretend this is the only thing. It either jumps up or it's down here. Let's just pretend that for now. That means this coin could be here or it could be here. So I guess what you do is you switch to 1D. So let's say we move along. Or well, okay, well we'll just go through this idea. So let's say we move along, we hit a barrier. So we switch to 2D, and let's say the barrier is here. It could be here or here, and we have the cat either jump over it or he moves through it like that. And so these are both potential scenarios for over here. So is the coin here? Is the coin here? And then maybe we move. So here's a couple options. I think maybe, okay, here's another thing. I was thinking maybe either the coin's invisible and it's only visible, but now I'm thinking that's really dumb. So we're going to backtrack on that because for some reason I thought that was a good idea and we could make it into like a puzzle game, but now I'm thinking it is really dumb and forced, and if you force mechanics, it's never going to be fun like whatsoever. So, scratch that. I just had another idea. What was my other idea just now? Oh! That the game is played pretty much in one dimension. So this is my other idea, that the game is in one dimension, but we have some kind of like power bar. I don't know, some kind of like magic. It's in cursive, so that means it's magic. And you use up magic every time you try to go through this world. So it's about quickly seeing the obstacles and predicting maybe like, okay, these are my possible options, so this is what I'm going to be prepared to do. Or maybe you'll see other things. And then I was also thinking of other mechanics too. Like what if you have moving enemies? So we have, let's say, a Goomba. Oh god, that doesn't look like a Goomba. But we have a Goomba. He has little angry eyes. And maybe he's moving along this line like this and back. He's moving through here. And, you know, we can just play with that. But maybe when he's moving here, because it's a top-down view, we're not seeing that he's actually on top of a block. So maybe this is analogous to, let's say he's on a block like this up here, and then maybe he's like this moving back and forth. Maybe we don't see that because he's on top of that. Or I don't know, maybe we do when he leaves it. I don't know. But yeah, so it's kind of a little bit like Super Paper Mario. I guess that's where I'm like kind of inspired by, except instead of moving from 2D to 3D, we'd be moving from 1D to 2D. So we'll see, I guess, how good or bad that ends up being. Let's move this down. Basically, what I want to do is plan out just one bite-sized level for us to complete today. I think that's probably what we want to do. And even if it's not like a great game, it's still in the end just practice to use Unity for something that's more non-trivial than just run and jump on blocks. You know what I mean? Okay. So we're going to plan everything out. And then what we're going to try to do is just create like a checklist or, you know, just an exact thing of exactly what we need to do, the assets we need to make. And we'll try to complete this by the end of today if nothing goes like horribly wrong. So let's start by planning out a level. So I think I had a decent start with that other idea. Can you guys see? Okay, yeah, I think you can see. I cut off the top of my screen, I think, when... Oh, right, I was playing Dark Souls in windowed mode, and I didn't want anyone to see that because I was playing it on a TV screen that didn't let it go full screen. Okay, so we have our cat. And so we want to play with this idea of not being able to understand, oh, instead of 1D and 2D, try 2D XY and 2D XZ. Let's explore that for a moment. Maybe that's also, like, if any of you other guys want to try out an idea, that might be a good idea. So you mean, I'm guessing you mean, like, actually, if you guys looked at the Miegakure YouTube channel, I think it means, like, sort of what you're saying. So let's say we have this. I'm guessing you mean, if this is our XY, let's say we go to XZ, or, I don't know, would this be XZ or YZ? I don't know. Who knows? But it would look something like maybe this. So you have this, and then you maybe have a book. Easier than drawing bricks. And so let's just draw these kind of in tandem, I guess. So we have our cat here. I'll just draw him like this. I'll draw him like my first grade self would have drawn him. And so we run across the first block. And I think to start with, it's kind of like you just go with the simplest case. Now, I'm not like a masterful game designer, but it'd be more fun. This is where I'm honestly not creating something for the fun. It's because I don't know how to use Unity, because I'm a filthy scrub. I don't know. Maybe I'm a filthy scrub for using Unity. But anyway, we're just going to make a very simple bite-sized level that just at least shows the concept. So let's just pretend this is our block. It won't have a question mark in the final version, but I think it it's easier than drawing bricks. And so let's just draw these kind of in tandem, I guess. So we have our cat here. I'll just draw him like this. I'll draw him like my first grade self would have drawn him. And so we run across the first block. And I think to start with, it's kind of like you just go with the simplest case. Now, I'm not like a masterful game designer, but I do know that teaching mechanics, it's almost like teaching a class or something, right? Like in physics or something like that, you always start where people know, like, what is speed? Okay, let's build on that. This is velocity. At least that's how math should be taught. So same with game mechanics. You're just teaching people the rules of the world because, anything could happen. When you first start a game, you have no idea really what it's going to do. So we're going to teach them this mechanic. So let's say the player opens it up. They see that they're on a line, and maybe just intuitively they know that they could move forward. Move from 1D to 3D and 2D to 4D. That is quite a challenge that I would be happy to do in theory. I think I could do a text-based thing of that. It's either, okay, here's the thing. Either, for me, I'm focusing on finishing, it's either okay, these are my two bottlenecks. The tools, because I don't know how to use tools, or 2, math. This is kind of what you have to choose between, where it's like, I could do this, or I could do, a more finished project in Unity, but for now, I think I'd rather have, the visual thing. But keep the ideas coming, because that's awesome, and I think it would be great for people to have those ideas. Actually, to be honest, if any of you guys wanted to try out that math, then go right ahead. And you could even make honestly, even though it says multidimensionality, you could even try to make a text-based game or just implement the game logic and test it. Honestly, that's enough. You could just do, as we were talking about yesterday, you could just do unit tests or something for projecting different things. It sounds boring, but that will literally be, you'll be a master by the end of it. Anyway, so what I'm showing now is maybe just sort of the progression of how I'm expecting the player to go through it. So they start there, and they're probably the only way over is to jump. So let's just assume the player kind of intuitively knows that arrow keys in space or something like that are run and jump. And then maybe there isn't really a great way to show which button to press. But let's say at this point we tell them over here, or no, we have to tell them here. So this is actually So over here we want to say press, let's just say A. Let's say that's our button to change dimension. They come over here and then they're gonna jump. So this is actually their third action. So they start here, go here, they end up here, and then you'll see that the stamina bar is running out really fast, so we'll end up back here. Okay, so that's the other thing we need to have over here is a bar or something that's quickly depleting. Now the question is, this is what's really going to change the game. So here are our questions. How fast? Or I'll just say things that I need to clarify for myself. Just rate of, I don't know, decay. I'm calling it stamina, but I'll call it magic, I guess, because it's, it's magic. Rate of decay of magic, because if it's really fast, that's going to encourage people to just pull off lightning quick things and just get a brief view of the world, so you're never quite maybe comfortable with the rhythm. So yeah, let's explore that really fast. So if it's fast, it's more of reactive, you can only just do one jump or one run and you have to kind of react to the world that you're working with. If it's slow, then that means you can explore a bit more, but it kind of makes this more annoying or stupid. So I'm thinking we want it to be fast. I'll see how that goes though. I'm thinking the rate of decay should be fast, so that you're just looking at bite-sized chunks of the world and you're never quite comfortable with how it's laid out without memorizing it. So okay, this example is actually going to be really simple. Later, if I can get this finished today, Then tomorrow or the next day, I'd like to add in enemies and other stuff. But let's say this is just what we have for now. Like I always say, just do things simple and modular and don't even worry about it. So now you're here, and then you move here. You see another barrier, but wait. Oh, here's the other thing I'm thinking. If this is going to go really fast, I feel like our view should be very close up. That's another thing to think about. I think our view should be super close up so that we aren't sure. We're thinking, oh, we're just going to jump, but maybe the stamina bar goes out or something like that, and we hit it. Here's another thing. What happens when stamina equals 0? Or I keep calling it stamina. Magic. If magic equals 0, is that how we die in this game? Maybe we do have damage or something like that. But maybe this is an all-inclusive like life bar. So even if we did have enemies, they would hit. Ooh, that would be really cool. So our magic, let me delete this. Magic is our hit points. So if enemies hit us, that goes down. And so does our time in the 2D world. And it also takes up like our time in the 2D. It also determines how long we can be in the 2D world. So the 2D world is almost like poison. We don't belong there. Oh my gosh, the lore. Okay, big item on the to-do list is intricate. This is probably the most important part. Intricate lore. Okay. We're going to spend at least an entire stream on this. It's pretty important. Yeah, I am going to use the cat as my main character. That's why you have this cat right here. Hi there. Hi there, Tajunta. Hello there. So yeah, so this is just going to be our bite-sized thing. So hopefully the hope would be in this first level that the player would then maybe, I mean, you guys wouldn't because you know what's up. The player would maybe try to hit this, but then their bar would go to 0, like by the time they get over here, if they don't like go back here and recharge. So it recharges over here. So magic, so it recharges in 1D world. All right. So yeah, so if they try to jump over it again, it's possible they could die, but you know, this is level 1. So then on their second try, so we'll say this is like 5.5, but then this is what they'll do. And then maybe there's like a little flag over here that's like, yay, you did it. Okay. So this is kind of what our game's gonna be. I like it. I think it's decent. We have something from start to finish, and it's simple, and it has something a little bit more interesting than just making, you know, like Pong for the umpteenth time. So, some things to consider right now. So we're gonna have our player. We're gonna think about things kind of in terms of the code. So we have our player, and so what do we need for the player? We need a sprite, an animation. Well, yeah, we can just write down assets too. Actually, we're going to do assets in a separate list. This is just like code of how we should construct it. So our player is going to move. And so we're going to have movement in 1D and 2D. The movement in 1D would pretty much be exactly the same, except it would not, if we just use Unity's input.getAccess, it would only get the horizontal access. So we could pretty much use the same movement for both 1D and 2D. We would just maybe have a flag. So let's write that down. We just have like a bool called like is in 1D or something like that. And then that would just decide which axes it grabs, I guess, when it's determining the movement. And then we also want to make sure that we have a jump. Jump for 2D. And then what else does the cat do? I guess the cat has some more attributes. The cat has its magic meter. If there's a more fun way to say that, we can do that. So it has a magic meter. And the magic meter will have a bool saying, well, no, we don't need it to have, because we can just look at, okay, see, not duplicating logic. The magic meter will look up here and see if it's in 1D, and then so it'll decay a little bit every frame if not is in 1D, if that makes sense. So if it's in 2D, it decays. All right. And then let's see, what else will the magic meter do? Oh, and it will collect. It will increase if, you know, the other case, if it is in 1D. The meowter, oh my gosh, the meowometer, the meometer. Well, I'll call it the variable magic, but you know, we can have fun when we make the assets, I guess. So it will also, it decreases, so it'll also take damage. We won't worry about this now, though, but it will be able to take damage, and this will be something that is most likely called from the enemy. So we can decide player-enemy interactions can be done in a few ways. The enemy could, so okay, there's a few ways to organize this in terms of code. Let's say this is our enemy and this is our player. So our player has like an int HP thing, and then the enemy maybe has like int damage, like how much damage it does. So what you could do is have the enemy access the player's HP and directly do that. Or you could say player is hit, now the player's going to look up the enemy's damage. Now, I like this way a lot more. I feel like enemies shouldn't access the player. I feel like it's better for one source to access the others. So I think that's what we would do. So we would just write a function that would take this, and it wouldn't be a big deal. Everything is nice and encapsulated. So we won't need to really worry about this till we make a more advanced level. So all we need to worry about are these two things, and then jump, all of that. Let me see if I'm missing anything with the player. Let's look back at our example. Yeah, it just jumps, it moves. All right, so then we just need some game logic. So for one thing, we're going to have the camera, and we have that follow script from before that we're just going to reuse. So we're going to have camera. We want to make sure it's zoomed in so that we only are ever seeing, like, I guess 3 sort of blocks or tiles of space. Oh, shoot. I should change my stream title. Oh, I just realized that. That's not really important. I'm not doing pixel art, everybody. Not at all. Wow, that's a big oversight. Anyways, camera zoomed in, follows player. That's pretty much it. But now we want to do the game logic with switching dimensions. Now, the fancy transitions aren't so much programming as animation, and maybe sometimes the animation is programmed in. So let's just say overall game logic, like what we need to keep track of as a whole that's not associated with the player. I guess like victory. We won't have a menu yet. We'll try to make something like, you know, polished enough that we could, you know, slap it on a website if we wanted and someone could play start to finish, even if it's tiny. The goal is just, I think, finishing things, no matter how good or bad, is just the key. So we want to keep victory state. You know, if it touches the flag, we'll show like a little splash screen, I guess. So I'll write that flag. And we'll have a flag object, I guess, and all it does is that it changes like a bool victory or something. This is all the flag does, and it has like a position, and then we just check if the player is past the flag or not. And then what we want to have, so this is the other thing, how we want to store the 1D state and how we want to store the 2D state. So let's see, the game has a 1D. I'm guessing, okay. So I'm guessing what we do is we do the map in 2D. Ideally, we'd want to load level designs in by text, but let's not worry about that. So the game has a 2D map, and then when we want to show it in 1D, that's what we're going to do. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to lay everything out in 2D. So like, you know, when we just like drag and drop things on Unity, so 2D map, we're going to drag and drop, which just means like, you know, when we have blocks and things like that. Add something like speed so that it has like power-ups and stuff like that. I agree. So those are all really good things. So for example, along with damage, like with enemies, we can include, yeah, like power-ups. there's like a lot of different things we could do. Power-ups, like increased magic meter, increased health, increased speed, stuff like that, because the speed would work with this decay. And then maybe there's even power downs. Like maybe you have like an increased decay, almost like it's poison or toxic or something cool like that. So there's a lot of different things you can add on to this system. And that's how I think you know you have a decent system to move forward with. If you can think of little modular add-ons that, you know, make it more interesting without fundamentally changing it. So yeah, thanks for the suggestion. But then I guess this is the last piece of logic for the game. We drag and drop things onto a 2D map, but we want to make a function that maps it to 1D. So I don't think... See, the dumb way to do it would be to say, okay, Unity, I dragged my cat, and then I have a block here, and I have a block here, and then somewhere else in the world view, I have something like this, maybe like literally right below it. You know, this would be the 1D map. I think we want to do this programmatically so that we're not just dumbly copy and pasting things, even though we probably could, even though it would be tedious. The goal of this is to kind of map things out. So I think what we'd want to do is save the states of them in 2D and then decide where, I guess what we would do is we'd make sure to maybe, we'd save this position no matter what, but then we would just, if it's in 1D, so if it is in 1D or something like that, we would say render at y equals 0 or whatever. We would say like transform.position equals this, but let's say we do have that Goomba or whatever on here moving back and forth. Wow, that's tiny. It's probably very hard to like transition or anything like that, but I think that will work. So I'll just say phase y in and out. So that's really all we need to do, because like I said, it's like a top-down view, so no matter where anything is, that's just all we're going to do. Now, it might be weird if there's an object on top of something else, but I think that will be fine. The other thing is just, I'm also thinking about if we had, and this is something we don't need to worry about now, but let's say we do have that Goomba or whatever on here moving back and forth. Wow, that's tiny. It's probably very hard to see. But if we do have like a Goomba on a platform and he moves back and then forth and then he's on this box, I'm trying to think of how that would look. So it would look like this probably if we just literally phase the Y out. And then, yeah, I guess that would make sense. We just want to make sure we'd only update as X anyways. Yeah, I guess this will work as long as the render order is correct, as long as we make sure it renders things with a greater Y. So I'll just make that as a note, render order, like greater Y equals greater priority, I guess. These are just my dumb notes. Okay, so it looks like we kind of already have pretty much everything we'd need for this game. Oh, you have an example of the 2D thing? It's imgur.com. I think that's a link to just Imgur right now. But all right. So we're going to do this right now. I guess the only other, oops, actually, yeah, this is probably good zoomed out. So we're going to keep all of this over here. And then the last thing I just wanted to write down was like a list of assets. So we're going to just do this really big. Assets. This actually looks quite nice when it's zoomed out. So we have our assets. So this is just the minimum we need. We're not going to worry about sound or anything like that, or any like special things. We're just going to have a player, which will be our cat that we practice doing sprite art with. We're going to have our player. So we're just going to need like walk. Well, so we're going to have idle. We're going to have walk. And we're going to have like a jump. And it's okay if we like substitute these as placeholders while we get it to work. Then we're just going to need blocks and then a flag. Now the other thing to keep in mind is that we'll also want sprites, and these don't need to have an animation, but player 1D. So the cat, I guess, I I don't think he'll have an animation in 1D. So like a player 1D, so that's like the cat's head. The blocks can be the same in 1D. And then the flag will also want flag 1D because I don't want the flag, because the concern is that I don't just want like a cat that looks like this on a 1D line, and then I also don't think it's good to have a flag like this because that's just 2D. So what I mean by that is we'd have another asset for the cat that's just a head, and then we'd have an asset for the flag that's maybe just the triangle, so that's understandable to people without it just seeming like, you know, the 2D world that just got like smushed or whatever. So okay, so flag 1D. So for right now, this is all we need, and we like most of these are pretty easy. The main thing is just to, I guess this can just be a static sprite. So we have this, we just need to reverse it to the other side. Yeah, we just need like a jump and then to do everything else. So we'll do those last. For now though, we're gonna keep this over here so that we don't forget anything. So for right now, how about we just make the cat move back and forth. And yeah, we'll just make the cat move and jump. The most standard thing as kind of a warm-up. So here's what we worked on. It's called Terrible Art. That's what the name of the stream is. So yeah, here's what we worked on last time. These are silly little animations. And yeah, one taps his little tail. This guy walks along. So this will be our main character. He's pretty cool. We just need to flip him to the other side, I guess. So I'm sorry. This cat will have to, let's just move him off the frame. And then this cat, sure, he'll just always be walking for right now. Yeah, just it goes from entry to cat walking, and I think I removed any conditions and stuff because I just started to confuse myself, which is great and fine. So the cat will always be walking left no matter what for right now. So I actually, do I have a script attached? I have no script attached, which is good because I didn't, wait, oh, I do have a script right here. So let's take a look at this script. And I may have a problem with, oh yeah, I'm not doing 3D for this at all. This is just one bite-sized thing. I'm not doing, I'm not even gonna touch 3D just because I'd rather make a very simple, like if I have time to do stuff, I'd rather just expand on things with, yeah, making power-ups and stuff like that and making a better, simple game. Yeah. Even though it's the challenge is just to use the dimension as some sort of mechanic. I just made it very open-ended just to see what people would come up with. But yeah, I'm not necessarily going to do 4D. It's like I said, either I make a decent game or I, do heavy math. But, oh yeah, I see exactly what you mean, like with that link and stuff. Yeah. I think that's a great idea. Yeah, I see exactly what you mean by that. That's really cool. But yeah, I highly encourage everyone if they, see if move.x is, oh, right. This is when I was trying to do dumb animation stuff. Let's see. So this is doing this, and then we're gonna delete this. So this should be, we did this last time. It's pretty simple. Unity basically does everything for you. We're just going to make sure that this cat will move left and right without going too crazy. We just want to make sure he's at a smooth speed, and then we're going to do the jump. So let's go, kitty. All right, he's so not moving anywhere, which is fine. We will debug. Oh, right. Doi, make sure that your script is attached to your cat, everybody. Those cats and their scripts, they never attach to each other. All right. So see, he's moving back and forth. The speed is a little bit crazy. Do I like this speed? I don't know. I think we are pretty zoomed in because he's a very little sprite. If you can see the camera, this is like the field of view option is kind of like the zoom. We're at 8 right now. You can see when it's at the middle, this is kind of the view because the cat sprites are very tiny by Unity standards. Whoa. See, this is the, okay. This is, I like this size though. And I think this will actually be, let's make the camera a tiny bit more zoomed in. So we'd have the cat. We're going to put Kitty over here just to show you maybe the camera. So let's start him at, so if we start him at, let's start him at -1. Is he just out of the frame? Yeah. Let's start him at -0.5. Let's say we go in intervals of 0.5. Oops. He's kind of off the frame there. Maybe I should move the camera. I don't know. Let's just not worry about it. This is a decent zoom for right now. This is a decent zoom. This is the kind of zoom we're going to go for. And I'm thinking that we might want to just change the cat speed. Can we do this from here? Cat movement. Usually they have the variables drop down there. I don't know what is this? Okay, get out of there. And yeah, usually we can edit the variables over there, but this is fine. Let's make it just 1 per second. Or one, it's not 1 per second. It's kind of hard. The thing with games is that it's kind of hard when you just start playing with random numbers. So let's say if this is how fast you can go, we might want to make his movements. And by the way, I know this tail looks really weird, how it's like waving like this, and this is completely static. That's something that I wanted to change around, but it won't be too hard to change that. I think maybe I should make it so that either the tail stays put or that the whole thing moves, but that isn't really what we're worried about right now. So I think this is a decent pace. The only thing is that if it went a bit slower for the meter to go by, but this is an okay pace. We don't need to spend too much time. Now the next thing is jumping. Now, once again, I am a Unity noob, so I'm not sure if there's like a wonderful way to make a jump happen. But I'm guessing we want to update this move vector. So what I'm going to do, I'm just looking up right now just to make sure there's nothing I'm missing, because sometimes Unity just has a really easy way to do things and I create really complicated systems. It says Unity jumping. So, okay, so I think one thing that we'll need to do is, let's see. Yeah, it looks like we want to add a rigid body. It looks like Unity 5 does some cool things, which is what I was afraid of because, you know, the more stuff that the engine does, the more you have to like know specifically how that works. So we're adding a rigid body 2D. This is called cat walking, but we just want to call this, we'll call it player, even though it's our cat. I don't know why I called this Psycho Cat, but I guess he is kind of psycho. It just seems very harsh to call him psycho. I'm currently looking at a thing on another screen. I'm on Stack Overflow, so you know that's what's going on the other screen. I figure you guys don't need to see that. You may follow along with me on my Google search, but it looks like we want to add a rigid body. And let's see, I just want to make sure, do we need gravity or anything like that? Because the other thing is to have a box collider, so we're going to want that. We're going to want a 2D box collider. And that collider, it looks like it's in good order. You want to make sure it's actually like surrounding your object, which it is. It's not a trigger for right now. I think by trigger, they mean like animation trigger. Wow, I love that explanation. Is trigger, whether the collider is a trigger. That's how where people like, they criticize like commenting code, because sometimes it'll be like the mass decides, yeah, the mass of the body. The only helpful information there is you get to see the range, but yeah, sometimes it's just funny when you see comments in code that just like literally say exactly what it looks like. Psycho Cat trashes Xbox. Psycho Cat takes no answers to nobody. Okay, sorry that I'm just kind of looking at this. I'm just making sure that we don't need to add any of those variables, which we don't. So now what we're going to do, we're going to have a vector called jump height. It's just going to be a vector 2. Oh, we need to make this public, I think. We don't need to, but let's do it in case we have a collision or something. And then we're going to do this as well, because we're going to allow other things to access like how fast we're going and stuff. I think that's fair to make these public. And then okay, it looks like we add a force. Unity just does everything for you, seriously. Not trying to be I don't know, but so we just add a force. That's it? We just add a force? Okay. I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. If input dot get button, I think we can just say like space. This is how easy it is. If it's not, I'll look it up for realsies. Oh, keycode dot space. Maybe that's what we should do. Input dot get key down. Okay, so this is the more reliable way to get something. Keycode dot space. And then if that is true, let's go along. We're going to get component. So actually one thing I'm going to do, because I think this can actually be kind of helpful. We might not even need it for this case, but I like putting variables up here and then getting their components. So if we say like rigid body, there's like ups and downs to doing this, but if we just say rigid body get component, rigid body 2D, this way we don't have to keep calling this every time we want to access something we attach to an object. Let me actually zoom this in a little bit for you guys. So this will allow us so that we don't have to call this every time we want to access it. This game might be simple enough that we don't need it, but how much cleaner does this look to just say rigid body dot add force, and we're going to do jump height, and then I guess this is what, oops, not all caps, force mode 2D dot impulse. So that's one thing I want to look at. I know impulse is like force times time. Yeah, add an instant force impulse to the rigid body 2D using its mass. So if you guys don't know, if you if you forget all your physics, momentum is P equals M times V, and you can use conservation of momentum to find collisions. But this also equals force times time, which is equal to impulse. I want to Google that really quick. Impulse equals momentum, because I don't want to be educating our future generations on my Twitch stream with wrong information. How does impulse relate to momentum? The impulse momentum theorem states that the change in momentum of an object equals the impulse applied to it. Yeah, so I think it's more of like delta V or something like that. If you guys want to correct me right now, feel free to. But I think this is basically the general principle. And then when you get into calculus, let me just see. It's something like integral impulse. Yeah, so impulse, aha. So this is it. Times delta time, or like the change in time, is this, delta V. So if you take calculus, let me go back to maybe my little drawing board. If you take calculus, ooh, wow, everything's getting really zoomed out. If this is time on your X, I should just use my tablet instead of my mouse, because everything's gonna look gross. Time. Let's say you have some kind of force applied over time, and you have a weird looking graph like this. This kind of denotes your acceleration. You kind of predict how far you went. The impulse is this curve colored in. It's all of that. So every change in your force times time, which is like this, so the change between this and this represents your momentum as well. That's just some physics. At least from what I remember, that's right, but you know, I haven't taken physics in a little while. Let me see. Let me just make sure that we get this done, and then I'll check in. So I'm guessing it's interesting, though, that that's applying an impulse. I guess that makes sense. You're applying a force up. They're just making everything so nice and easy. Now, this might not specifically work. It looks like they're using transform.translate instead of plus equals. I feel like translate, though, in the direction... Okay, let's just try translate, because this looks a lot cleaner. I'm looking at different things in the code. This does look cleaner. Can we just put this in here? Or do we have to... Can we put in a vector 3, or do we have to have separate things? Yeah, just put in a vector 3. So we have move times delta time, times speed, and then it looks like we can just apply this after we translate it. Okay, I'm just double checking to make sure I don't have any dumb errors. That's what I'm trying to do. I always move too fast, so I'm trying to slow down a little bit. Okay, I'm going to try this, because this looks like, to the best of my knowledge... Well, wait, we need to initialize jump height to something. let's say they're saying try like 0, 10. So let's do that. Let's initialize our jump height equals vector 2, 0, 10. I think we want to, I always get confused with doing this, but it is nice that it cleans up. C# is nice that it cleans up all of our memory for us. So let's go. Talking about Unreal Engine 4 as blueprints. Yeah, Unreal, that was going to be the next one. Oops, I think our kitty just fell through the void of the world. This is what I was worried about. Let's say, well, it needs to have gravity. Wait, if we say gravity 0, I just want to see what happens, because that usually means gravity doesn't apply to it. Right. Oh, right. I'm getting the vertical axis. That's why. Woo, kitty. Okay. Let's pretend that we can only use these keys. Oh my god, that cat just... where is it going? Oh, right. It's 0 gravity, so that's what happens. Oh my god, that's so funny. That's really funny. So that's what happens when you do 0 gravity, kids. Oh my gosh. Mono game? I haven't even heard of that either. I keep meaning to look up all these things that people recommend, but then I just get... let me actually look that up really quick. Mono game. Write once, play everywhere. This is what I'm looking at right now. I'm getting distracted because I don't want to deal with gravity, but I will. Huh. So it's... I'm guessing it's open source or something like that. This is really cool. I'll have to check it out. I guess for those of you guys who have used it, what are the advantages of mono game over, you know, like Unity or something? Not that, like, I'm not like this, like, apologist of Unity. It's just, you know, it's easy and it's what, like, I did other projects for it. That's it. But I don't really, I am tool agnostic, as people in the industry say. Being tool agnostic. All right, so let's get a floor for this cat to walk on. For now, what I think I'm going to do is we're just going to create, we're going to make a new asset. So this is its animation folder. Let's make a folder for Psycho Kitty. These are not great folder names, but this is what we're doing. Oh no. Put this in here, put that in there, put this in here. Now I don't know why this is called cat walking controller. I don't know why I named this scene that, but we're gonna put that in a folder. All of my names are very messy, but I won't do that on stream. So we're gonna put these in here, and then we're gonna make a folder for animations, and then we're gonna animations, and then we're gonna put these in here. All right, now what we're gonna do, we're gonna create a thing. We're gonna create a thing. It'll just be a 2D object, and this is just gonna be our block. We're just gonna use, sometimes I've used a lot of like random UI elements. Like sometimes I'll honestly just use these. They're just supposed to be input fields or UI sprites, but this is all right for now as like ground to walk on. You know, there's not like a huge difference. Should we do this one or this one? Yeah, this is fine. Maybe this is unprofessional, but I don't feel like importing anything in particular right now. But we will make this, I guess we don't need this to be a rigid body, but we should have it have a box collider, I think. I don't know, but that's just what seems good to me. Where is this going? Let's see, if we do 0, 0, it ends up over there. 0, 1, is it based on the Z? No. Wait, Z sends it farther back, if you guys can see. Wait, the kitty, so where's kitty? Kitty is at 0, 0, 0. That's what that looks like at 0, 0, 0. I don't know why. I guess y equals 1 is just so far down. So let's do like -0.1, -0.25. Okay, sure. Let's just do -0.25 for right now. And we'll call this like the floor. And so we'll make maybe a bunch of these tiles, and we'll make this act as the floor. Now I know this isn't really a great way of doing this, but I just want to get something working so that I can understand the system rather than like, you know, freak out about it. And then we'll just have these like right next to each other. So this is, I actually don't know how wide this is. but it looks like if we have like a 0.15, 0.1, 0.1, 0.2, we'll just say 0.15. Okay, and we'll hope, I don't think the cat will fall through this. So we're going to make them 0.15 apart. Now we would generate these programmatically in the real thing. I'm just trying to make sure that the movement and everything is working the way that I think it is. And then these, ooh, this is something I didn't consider. The floor won't be in the 1D projection whatsoever. Oh no, there's lag and stuff like that. I'm sorry about that. If there's anything I can do, let me know. But oh, or maybe I should just, what am I doing? I'm so dumb. That's what I should have just done. I should have just scaled it. Well, anyways, the goal is, like, eventually, and maybe we won't get to it for even this game, the goal is to generate levels from, like, text files. Now, this is one crazy floor, but let's just go with it. Let's just have the cat walk along this, and we won't include this in our projection. See, it goes very, yeah, that's decent. This is fine with me, and it's just negative 0.25. Okay, so maybe we'll actually, well, we'll see if the cat collides with it. Let me just make sure, Unity 2D floor collision. I just want to make sure there isn't something, once again, something easy that I'm missing. So we want this floor to be obviously like solid. You have to set what layers collide with each other in the physics options. I'm just gonna check that out really quick. Physics 2D. So this is the layers that collide with each other. The layer collision matrix. Okay, I've never actually used these in the settings. I'm so used to like programming and stuff, but I just want to like look at that kind of stuff. But okay, so in any case, we have a collider. It's applied to the whole thing. That's one thing I have trouble with, is sometimes this rectangle isn't where you want it to be, and that causes much weeping and gnashing of teeth. So, and then we have the cat, and he has his collider. So we're just gonna say, let's just say we have a floor, and we just call this floor. Once again, I'm not really sure how we're supposed to do things in Unity, but I do like things that save me time. I'm just interested in learning this, because one thing about doing everything on your own is, you know, you feel like eventually, after many years of university, you feel like you've reinvented the wheel a few times, but I still don't know like anything really. Okay, so now we're gonna say maybe we can try those physics collision layers and just see. So yeah, so it says these collide. So let me just make sure really quickly. Rigid body falling through floor, because I feel like that's what's going to happen. I guess we can just try it to see. I think we need to add, oh no, the cat's, here we go. Here we go, everybody. Isn't this cool? Ready? Okay, so we have that working. Okay, so that worked the way I thought it would, I guess. So this is colliding with this, I guess. Okay, that worked way better than I thought, and we didn't even have to like modify the code too much. Wow, Unity is like so like simple and nice. Oh my gosh, this is beautiful. Okay, so we have our floor. It just has a collider. We can change that sprite later at any time. We can add a background at any time. All right, now let's see if the cat's gonna jump. That's the other thing I should have done. The other thing is, ooh, what just happened there? All right. Okay, we're gonna go to the game. So this is one problem. The cat walks like this, and he kind of bounces off of it, but that's fine. The other thing is we're gonna have to change the jump height, but I feel like the cat should come back down, although it's just kind of going, oh, I never changed the gravity scale back. No wonder. Oh my god. Cat, we just want to throw you up in the air and have you go down. How do hitboxes work? I'll show you in one sec. Let's just see. Oh, good, the cat came down. See, look, we're looking at his Y position over here, and he's up, he goes up 5 and down. So it looks like we set it to 0, 10. It looks like it'll go to the Y position that's half of our jump height, which makes sense. But I mean, I don't know how Unity handles gravity. This is so like abstracted from like theory that I'm used to. I want to actually read up on how this stuff works. But I'm guessing maybe we just want a jump height of, honestly, like, I'm gonna say 1, because we're working on a very small space. So the way the hitboxes work, I guess, just to reiterate that. So we have this cat object, and Kitty has this sprite renderer and animator. We did that by having our sprite sheet that we imported, and then we drag these into the scene. So we highlight these, drag them into the scene. Then we got this cat object complete with the animator and everything. Then we add the movement script, we add a rigid body, we add the box glider. All we needed to do was to give the cat a layer. So we're gonna say he's player. So he's on that layer, and maybe this isn't the best way to do it, because now I'm thinking that should be a tag instead of a layer, but I think it's fine. I don't know, it's whatever. There's probably like way worse code than this. And then we just went to edit project settings, and then the physics 2D settings, and then let's see if we didn't, let's say we uncheck the player and floor options, like everything where the player and floor interact, or well, player to player, wait. Floor does not, wait. Floor collides with floor, but floor doesn't go to player this way. That's what I'm wondering. Why is it that player only connects with one layer? Oh, it has to do with like your hierarchy. Actually, let me try that really quick, because I don't know how Unity works like at all. Let's say we go here and we do add layer. What if we switch these or something? Or let's see, sorting layers? Tags? Like if I did player and then floor, I'm just wondering how this will change this right here, because the layers matter. I don't think, this is what I thought, that it wouldn't change it, but that's something maybe to read up on, at least for me. For some reason I'm gonna switch it back though. Yeah, so that's what happens. And then if we uncheck those layers, then they would collide through each other. So let me just look up that really quick. Physics layers. I just want to know the proper way to use them, just in case this isn't really what it's for. Physics best practices with Unity. That's exactly what I wanted. Layers and collision matrix. Come on, everybody. Let's read Unity articles together. Okay, if they're not configured or created on the default layer, and for each layer, a new row and column is added on the collision matrix. It's responsible for defining interactions between layers. By default, when adding a new layer, it's set to collide with every other existing one, so it's the developer's responsibility to access it and set. So for example, if you want your bullets to pass through walls, but you want them to hit players, you just uncheck anything, I guess, on your wall layer, whatever that is. So it looks like, oh, so they do have it for floor, wall, I'm guessing red and green, or maybe character. Oh, here we go. Collisions over 5 seconds, blah, blah, blah. Ooh, this is actually pretty useful. Unity has amazing documentation. I haven't used too many other engines, to be honest, but Unity has some great documentation, YouTube videos. They vary in helpfulness, but they're still pretty good. Okay, so we were using it right. This is like the best practice, I suppose. So now what we want to do, we set the cat to the gravity. Let's check our new jump right now. So we do this and, or wait. Oh, okay, so see now gravity, I'm pressing the up and down arrows and it's not wanting to move. I should just say that this movement isn't allowed, but for now it's fine. So now the cat's barely jumping. This is a jump. The cat's barely jumping. So we're gonna increase that a little bit. I think it doesn't scale the way I thought it did, but that's fine. We're gonna make this like 3. This is the, oops, not speed. Sorry. Gonna keep that back to 1, and then we'll make this one 3. I'm just playing with values. It's hard when you don't really know what scale things are on Unity's end, like what they're using for acceleration and stuff. Yeah, this is a decent jump. Bloom. Boom. So like if we had a block right to my right over here, we could just maybe jump over it. Like maybe it doesn't have enough vertical distance. Because let's see, if we do this, maybe we want to make him a little faster. No, I like his movement speed. Let's say our jump height is a little bit more. Because I feel like I want it to be a little bit more horizontal. I'm just kind of imagining if the block is the same size as the cat. I don't want him to go off screen though. Okay, you know what? We're going to keep it at 3 and just hope that the block kind of works out. So we're going to get a block now. Wait, let me just make sure that because we can also figure out things later. So now we did this. I'll be nice about crossing. Or you know what? We'll do, actually, no, I want to cross it off. Okay, jump. We did movement, but now let's add kind of the 1D stuff, like this and that other thing. So we're going to have a bool called, and we're going to make this public. This may not, should we associate this with the player? We'll do it for now. I'm not sure if it's exactly the kind of relationship maybe that makes sense. But we'll refactor that. Maybe we'll do a stream of refactoring because that's important too. It's fun to actually just do a game though. Because the last challenge was very much like algorithms based. Is in 1D will equal false. And well, no, it'll equal true initially. And we're going to say if input, let's say dot get key down. Let's say that the enter key is key code, I think they'll call it return, enter, keypad, no. I guess return is the technical word for it. So we're going to do this. If we get a return key, is this not, does not contain a definition. Well, you suggested it. Let me just look through. They have the delete sign down arrow equals all of the F's. Sorry, I just wanted to see what kind of key codes are available for Unity. I know these all map to controllers. It looks like up to 8 controllers or something. Let's maybe just say left shift for now, because that's a decently common like action key, I guess. We're gonna say is in 1D equals false, and then we'll say, should we even get the vertical axis? What if I did this? Let me just see really quick if this takes out the jankiness, and then we'll go back to accounting for everything in 1D. So let me just make, because remember how if I press the up and down keys, the cat went kind of like, whoa. So we're going to make sure that, yeah, now it's smooth. I'm pressing up and down and it's not doing anything. So this is pretty smooth. I know he's not like on the floor, but I'm not super concerned about that right now. So this is good. And then he jumps like this. I like the camera angle. Bloop, bloop. Okay, it's really cute. I'm loving it. This is the best. Let's go back. So we're going to do our 1D stuff. So there's a couple things we want to do. Right now, we just want to practice. I think our next step is just to practice shifting. Not practice as if it's like a talent, but we want to make it be able to shift to 1D and map everything the way we want it to look. So I'm going to have Psycho Kitty be a placeholder for this guy in 1D, if that makes sense. Where's Psycho Kitty? Yeah. So what I mean by that is I'm going to have this sprite. When this sprite appears, it means we're in 1D, just for now. I know that won't make a lot of sense, but that's just what we're going to do for now. And then this floor will disappear, and we'll just be on a line. We don't need to necessarily draw a line, but that's fine. So our 1D world, so when we're in 1D, we're going to make a script, I think, that's separate from our player. Where can we make a, oh, we got to make it under assets. So we're going to create a C# script, and we're going to call this like, should we just call it game? Sure. I don't know. We'll refactor it later on. All right, so what we're going to do here, actually what I'm thinking is we do want this to be over here. We want this Boolean value to be here. That was the thing I was just considering like 2 seconds ago. Is in 1D should be over here because I think it's something that's kind of handled by the game logic. Right now what we're doing is we're going to try to map our 2D world to like the 1D thing that we want. So we're going to say, well, we want to apply a game object here. So we're going to create an empty game object called, I don't know, like dimension manager or something like that. Or I'll just say game manager. I don't know. This is all very dumb. We're just going to add this thing. And so I'm guessing this is how we find things. We do game object dot find or find object. Oh, fuck. I forget how to find game objects. Let me look this up. Unity find game objects. Game object dot find. So, oh, it's capital game object dot find. See, I'm not crazy. So we're going to find, let me just make sure I know the syntax. Because we're not finding by tags, so I'm just gonna look up the name. We're gonna look up game manager. So we're gonna say, I guess, is it just called a script? It'll just be called game manager. Well, we don't need to define it in a variable. We're just gonna say this. Dot is in 1D equals false. Okay, like I thought, I don't think this is how you're able to do it because it needs to be game. So we need to do get component game dot is in 1D. There we go. Okay, see this? See this? There we go. So this is how we can access it from the player, which I think is fine because the player is going to affect the game world. The other way we could do it is the player sets a flag that the game manager looks for. But I think this is okay for now. If anyone wants to criticize me, or like give tips, feel free. Okay, so this will check if it's in 1D. If it is in 1D, so if is in 1D, we're gonna just say call like we're gonna just call a function called like one-dimensional render. I don't know. Else we're gonna call two-dimensional render. This is just to make the update function a little bit nicer. So this will just be a void render, and ideally we would just take this from a text file, as I was saying. What we're gonna do is we're gonna get, for now we'll just get the cat, but we're gonna say for each, shit, I forgot how to do the for each syntax. C#. We're gonna iterate through every game object that has a sprite component. So let's actually, I'm gonna look that up. Unity, Unity iterate. Oh no, you know what? I know what we're gonna do. Unity iterate sprites. I think we just want to check if it's tagged, but I just wanted to see if we could find an easy way to grab everything with sprites without having to tag them all. But I'm thinking maybe that's not exactly what's gonna happen. Unity, I'm just gonna say find all objects with, oh, with component. That's what we want. Find all, okay, so game object dot find objects of type. Oh, that's all we wanted. Okay, objects, find objects of type returns an object array, but you can cast that to the type you're looking for, and from that get the game object it's associated to. Is that what we really want though? If you're looking for only one object, I'm not looking for one object. I'm looking for one object with multiple components. Let me just look at this one more time before I just continue, just because I want to see. So when it says type, it just means everything of, so it would just look for everything of like player type or something, right? But I don't think that's what we want. Like I'm guessing that's what it's doing. Okay. We could just iterate through all game objects, and if it has, sure, whatever. We'll do it the dumb way. I was just seeing if there was a very nice and pretty way. So we're going to say game object dot find. Or do we just go through all of them? I'll do this actually. We're going to just tag things that are affected. We're going to phase out the floor, but then like the player will be one. So let's add this as a tag as add tag. Let's just say there's a tag called like dimension. I know that's a really dumb tag, but if we do that and then so player is now tagged as dimension. These are everything that's affected by the dimension. We're gonna, okay, so we would also tag the block, but I think the floor, sure, we'll say floor. Okay, find objects with the tag, oops, find the objects with the tag, with tag dimension. So now we have an array of game objects, and let me, so yeah, this is an array of game objects with the tag dimension. So now one thing I'm going to say is game object dot find. We're going to phase out the floor. We're going to say find object. Dang it, come over here. So how do we want to tag the floor? The floor is on a layer called floor. I guess that's also on a dimension. Okay, so I guess I had an idea. We're going to cycle through all these. So we're going to say this is game object. I'll just say objects equals this. And then we're going to say for each obj in objects. Is this how you do it? I forget how to use for each. And that was what I was looking up. That's on another tab right now. Okay, we're going to look up how to use for each because I like using for each. Oh, okay, we have to do the type. See, little syntax things, but it is pretty nice. So we're going to say for each game object in objects, and we got to do for game object obj in objects. Okay, now we're going to get the components. So we're going to say that they're first, we're going to check if it's the floor. If name equals floor, I guess. If game object dot, does it have a name? If obj dot name is equal to floor, this will be the one case where we just literally phase it out. We're going to say, is there a way to hide the sprite? I guess obj dot get component. Sprite renderer dot, and let me just see if there's anything easy that I could do. We don't want to get the components is visible. It says read only, but that's kind of what I want, to be honest. I want to just turn off its visibility but still keep its collisions and stuff like that, because I haven't really done this before. Let's just pretend dot sprite dot, and I'll look this up for a sec. I just wanted to see if I could. Okay, Unity hide sprite. We don't want to literally remove it, I guess. Seems a little silly. We just want to hide it for a little bit. Sprite render dot enabled, aha, equals false. But we're going to keep the collision, and then that's the line we're going to move on. Otherwise, if that's not our object, if it's like a block or something like that, we're just going to say, what we're going to do is we're going to have every object. So this is what I wanted to do. We're going to have a function here called, it'll just be void change dimension. And this is what all objects that are affected by, so all dimension objects, I guess, we could technically make them inherit from this and make a really nice little hierarchy. We're just going to have a thing called change dimension. And let's add a variable. We want to add our y to keep track of that. Or wait. Yeah. Okay. We're going to say public. Well, this will be private, actually. It'll be super private. We're going to call this float y save, y memory. I'll just call it float y restore y or something. Because this is where we're going to save our y that we're going to go back to in the other space. So for the cat, we're going to say, we're going to pass in a bool is 1D. And this means, or changing to 1D. So if it's changing to 1D, we want to phase out the y. So we're going to say transform.position.y. I did that backwards. We're going to do, did I say y restore or restore y? I did restore y. So first we're going to initialize that to 0. Then we're going to go down here. We're going to say restore y equals this. Now something's wrong. No, I think that's fine. It just didn't autocomplete, which is what I was expecting it to. So if we do this, we're going to save this, and then we're going to say, we want to make sure that we're only jumping if we're in for in 1D. Sorry, I'm just looking at this really quick. I think we want to actually grab this every frame. I'm not, I hate that, but we'll just say dimension, not change dimension. We'll say dim. Okay. We're going to have a bool up here called dim that keeps track of our current dimension. Oh, we have one is in 1D, but we're going to just change this to dim. Yeah, okay, fine. It's is in 1D. Okay, is in 1D is initially false, and then we can change it as we go. So we're going to say is in 1D equals this every frame. It's going to check it. One or the other is going to have to check it every frame because who knows, right? And the other thing is we just want to flip it. See what I mean? We don't want, it's not necessarily false every time we shift it. We're just going to keep nodding it back and forth. So then this is not going to be like this. We're just going to grab the value. Once again, not the best way to do things, but we're just going to start with that. So this, let's maybe make some comments now. Updates which dimension player is in. And then this handles player movement. And then this, we want to make sure that we're in 1D. So if we start, oops, and this is true, by the way. That was the other thing that I messed up on. So we want to make sure it's not in 1D for it to jump. And then it can switch between these things freely. Okay, so if it's changing to 1D, then I guess we don't even need this. If it's in 1D and it's getting a call to change dimension, should it, okay, so here's my other question. Should it change dimension here? No, it should. We should just have a function, and we should pass in the variable, and it's fine. We'll refactor it later. Okay, this is where I always overcomplicate things. We'll refactor it later. So restore y, we're going to keep that, and then otherwise, we are going to make sure that the player's y equals 0. So we're going to say transform.position equals .y, or transform.position equals new vector vector 3, even though we only need a vector 2, but we'll keep it at 3. So vector 3 equals transform dot position dot x 0 0. Okay. And then it can only move along the x axis. And that's all we want. So I think that's fine. If it's not changing to 1D, it's changing to 2D. So we want to say transform dot position equals new vector, vector 3. And we're just going to say that we're going to do our current x, and then we're going to do our restore y variable, and then 0. So this seems reasonable right now. Let's see what happens when this does it. But first, we're going to say if it's not the floor, then we're going to assume it's an object, the dimension object, and we're going to say obj dot get component. Well, in this case, the component's called cat movement. This is why I think we're going to want to have, this is going to be an abstracted class. So that's what is going to be on our to-do list. I'll put this over here, I guess. We're going to have a class called like, I don't know, dim change like object. I'm just doing it. And so it's going to have a function called change dimension that changes its sprites. And that's really all they're going to have in common. And then you're going to have other things like the player will inherit from that. The blocks will. And yeah, we may even have like another middle one called like movable person. And then the player and the enemies inherit. So I don't know. So this is what we're going to do eventually. We're going to have it inherit. But we're going to have a little refactor party later, if that all makes sense. And by the way, I know I've been kind of quiet and I've been kind of productive so far, but just stop me for any questions, any hashtag real talk. For right now, though, we're just going to hard code things because that's just what we're going to do right now. We're going to call, we got to make this a public function. So that's the other thing. It'll just make everything easier if we know that every class is going to have a thing called change dimension, and that's going to be public. So there we go, right there. And we're going to say, I don't think we really need to input anything, to be honest, now that I'm looking at it, because we're just getting the same variable from there. So we're going to say if it's, okay, it's changing to 1D if it's currently in 1D. So if not is in 1D, then it'll change to 1D, right? Okay, hopefully this works. I'm worried that it's going to like start clipping in between frames or something crazy. We'll just see how this behaves. Wait, let me just do it give it a once through. So this is going to say, okay, get whether or not if it's in 1D. So it'll always start in 1D. This does the movement, which we said was fine. This is going to make sure it's not in 1D. Okay, that's fine before it jumps. We're going to get the left shift to change this dimension. Okay. And then to change the dimension, we're going to save our Y, set it to 0. Or if we're changing the other way, we set Y back here. That's fine. Going to the game. Two-dimensional render. Aha, so that's something we want to do. Sure, we'll do that right now. Maybe we don't even need to do all of this stuff. We just do change dimension. Well, okay, because here's what I'm thinking. I'm just thinking how we want to go about the logic for changing the dimension. I don't know if we want to do this 1 versus 2-dimensional render because we just do change dimension. But I'll just do it anyway. Like I said, we'll do a little refactoring party all together. If you guys made games or something like that, we could all do that together. And this is going to be mostly the same. That's why I don't like it. I'm duplicating a lot of logic because this is just going to be back to being enabled. And then the cat will just change dimension and it'll just get the thing. Okay. And then this, we want to say I guess I'll put it here to do make a parent class for cat blocks, etc. to call change dimension. Yeah. Okay. So let's just see what happens. I think it should compile. If it doesn't, then that's fine. You can just take a look. So okay, it's in 1D right now. So now I press left shift and this appears. I can't do space though. So let's take a look. Our cat right now, it should say, where's our script? Okay, so it's not in 1D. I want to make sure I didn't do the space thing wrong. We go up here. Oops, I meant we go up here and we check. So yeah, the key code space should work because it has to be if the key code is space and it's not in 1D. Hi there. Hi there, Sky Connect. Hi there. So if this is not in 1D, and right now the cat isn't in 1D, see, it's not checked off. So the space should work. And see, look, this bool over here is working fine. I press shift, it turns from 1D back. I know the sprite isn't really changing, but that's fine. Let's see if I do this. So yeah, right now the space just isn't really working. And I'm wondering why that is. Is it because this should be totally fine though? That's what I'm wondering. Let's see if I just take this off, if that's what's problem, or if it's like a collider thing. So let's just try it. Okay, so we do this and we can't jump. We do this, we still can't jump. Okay, so something's going on with the jumping stuff, which I have not yet figured out because I don't think we really changed. Okay, is it working on the game manager too? Let me just look at this really quick. Okay, so the game manager is working fine, I think. The player, this is working fine, it's changing the dimension. Maybe, is it that, I think it has to do with this right here. So when we change dimension from 1D to 2D, let's see. So, so what happens? Okay, let's go through the flow. This is one thing we have to worry about. So it starts in 1D, and then if it's in 1D, do a one-dimensional. Oh, wait. What I'm doing wrong is that I'm saying change dimension. Aha, I'm flip-flopping it kind of. It's a little bit messed up. Okay, so if it's in 1D, we're going to do a one-dimensional render. We only want to change the dimension if we get this thing. This is why, okay. Okay, I'm thinking of how to do this logic because I knew that this logic wasn't going to work out. I knew that this logic was dumb and I couldn't figure out why. I guess we want to see if this is changing. So I guess we just want to see if there's a change more than anything. Okay, I have an idea. What we could say is the cat has its own state. This is what it's initialized to. The cat has its own state. And then we don't update every frame or anything like that. And then the cat, it won't do this. It'll just change its own thing. This will check if cat or if game object dot find player dot get component, I should really rename this now that we're getting more into it, cat movement dot is in 1D. I'm just gonna say I'm gonna call this dim 1D. cat movement dot is in 1D does not equal, if they're not agreeing, then the cat just changed the dimension, right? So why is it oh, right, we want to dim 1D. So if these are not in agreement, then we're going to change the dimension. So what we're going to do, maybe we don't even need to make this a function itself. We can just do this. Hey there, clean cookie. So we have the objects with tag dimension. If it's the floor, we're going to say, we're going to not this. Is there a way to like not equals itself? Let's see. I don't want to grab this twice. Well, I guess we'll have to in any case. Whoops. Let's say we do bool floor visible equals this, and then we'll say equals not. Yeah. It's kind of a weird way to do it, but I think it's fine. So we're gonna kill all of this. I knew it was bad. Duplicate logic is always bad. So we're gonna do the floor, and then this, we'll do a parent class later. And let's see, this is just if we're changing the dimension, then cat change dimension. Otherwise, we don't really need to do anything, I don't think. So this is fine, I think. I'm just gonna go back through it though. So key code space and is in 1D is not true. Then we can jump. So let's go back through this. We have all this stuff. This is gonna get dim 1D. So it's gonna find, get dim 1D, and it's just gonna match up with that. We go through here. If the cat's dimension changes, hopefully it'll catch it some point in between. I don't think one frame will matter, but we'll see. That's always what I'm worried about. Moves along the horizontal, but it only jumps if we press space. Okay. And then if it's not in 1D when we change dimension, that means we're going to 1D, so we save it, and then I think the rest of this should be fine. Now just double checking this once again. So if the cat's 1D state does not match this state, which I should change these names because they are weird names, so I just want to make them distinctly different. So there's no like name shadowing, if you know what I mean. And so then we're going to get an array of objects that are affected by the dimension. These will all have one parent class later. For each of them, if it's the floor, we're going to toggle off the floor's visibility and pretend that we're in 1D. This is where we'd also, when the cat changes dimension, every sprite in this class will have a, so let's go back here. Whoop, whoop, whoop. So what we're going to do, I know this is messy. It's going to have a function called change dimension, and then all of them will have a 1D sprite associated with it, and 2D, oh my gosh, this is so messy, and 2D sprite, and we'll just be toggling these on and off. So we're going to be enabling and disabling these different sprites as we change the dimension. And maybe some objects, just if it's left blank, then you just use the same one. We'll see how that goes. So let's test this out. I just wanted to double check that everything was working the way I thought it would be. So the cat shouldn't jump in one dimension. So we're starting off in the second dimension, but it's saying it's in 1D. So the floor, I think that's my fault though, because the floor should be disabled to start with. So let's disable the floor in the beginning. So at the start, we're going to say, we're going to get GameObject.find, because we're saying that we're starting in 1D. So GameObject.find 4, and once again, we'll make things as we go that actually, like, you know, make a little bit more sense in terms of logic. We're going to get its sprite renderer. I know I keep saying this like over and over. I'm just so aware of like how bad my code is, but I feel like I'm comforted by saying it out loud. But it's fine, right? Like somehow, see, that's what's interesting. I feel like I have something to prove with code since I talk about it so much, But like with my drawings, I really didn't give a shit. I just didn't want it to like waste people's time with me struggling with my drawings, but then I feel way worse about my code. We can't convert type bool to... Oh, whoops. I didn't mean to do this. We're just gonna say... Da-da-da. This should work now. So let's go back. Alright, we're gonna test this puppy out. Okay, so it says we're in one dimension. Let's confirm. Our player, it's in 1D. That's what it says. Our speed looks good. Game manager, it's in 1D. Great. So now we're in the game. We can move back and forth just like before, but we can't press space still. Oh, which is good. So it's moving how it should in 1D. We do this, and now something crazy is happening. So let's take a look at the floor. It keeps checking and unchecking itself. Oh, hey, thanks for the follow. Thanks for the follow, dude. So now, when we do this, it's fine. But when we do this, and I'm suspecting that one frame I was talking about where I was like, ah, ha, ha, that won't matter. I think it matters. I don't know why it would be... Because this is only called once. This... If cat... this shouldn't be an issue, but if it is, like, you know, we gotta fix it. So I'm gonna attach this process to Unity. I'm gonna attach... I don't know. I'm using the debugger. That's what I'm doing. We're just gonna check what's going on. So, okay, it's flashing and flickering, so I'm gonna go here. And yeah, so technically, if we stop it, I have the debugger on the other side, that's why it's stopped. So here we have our debugger, and let's see. So this stopped here. It's saying, let's take a look at the player. So this 1D is true. Oh, you know what? We're not updating it. Damn it. I thought I had everything figured out. We need to update it. If they're not in agreement, we got to do it. Equals not dim 1D. Or we can just say maybe it equal. No, it's fine. It's just going to flip. So let's do that. I think that was actually legitimately the problem. And I feel very silly right now. That's how these errors go. You think you check it, and then you feel very extraordinarily silly. So let's... So, okay, wait. Hopefully the move... Okay, there we go. So our movement is working. We can't move up or down. We can't press space. We're in 1D, though, so that's fine. We changed to 2D. We can go back. We can go forth. We still can't move our arrow keys. But, yay! Now we got this. We can jump. But then we switch back. No jumping. So wait, jump? No jump. So what happens if I do this and then switch? So then I get, yeah. So then I'm just right back down here. Okay. So we go this. So we're going to jump and then switch. So yeah, it just brings me right back down. Now what I'm going to do is we're going to make our blocks. We're going to try to just make the level that we did before. If we don't do the stamina and everything, because what time is it? It is 8 o'clock. Yeah, I think a healthy 2-3 hours is good for these streams. Any more, and, you know, it just wouldn't be fun to watch me go into my babble mode. If you watch some of my other stream, especially on the one where I was doing that crazy algorithm with the word puzzle stuff, what am I doing? Right, empty object. So we're going to make a block. And now this is where we're going to make a thing of class dimensions. We're going to make a new script, and we're going to call this a dimension object. And I know that that's like a dumb name, but once again, that's me acknowledging it, so like I feel better about myself. Because if I acknowledge my errors, you can't. But it's not like anyone really does that. Oh, thanks. Thanks for the distraction, bro. I sincerely appreciate it, for real. Oh my gosh. So this is going to inherit from a dimension object. And this is all going to be here, but we're going to take this. And do we need its rigid body? I don't think we do. We're going to take the is in 1D, and this is going to be over here. because all those objects will need to have that. And then it's going to have a restore. Actually, the cat's the only one that's ever going to disagree with the manager, if that makes any sense. So we're just going to have this restore Y in here, because this is what's going to be common to everything else. What I mean by that is we don't need there to be a bool for every single object. If every single object is going to follow the game manager, the only one who can change it is the cat right now. So we're going to keep all these. It's restore Y. We're going to initialize it in its parent class. It's going to be 0 for all of them. And then we're going to go down here. This is all fine because only the cat can change it. Only the cat can move and jump like that. And then we're going to move this function change dimension over there. And then we can further encapsulate some things. But we're going to have this change dimension function. And this is where we're going to pass in a bool dim is in changing to 1D. So if it's changing to 1D, we're going to do this, otherwise that. So now we're going to pass in a thing. I feel like maybe we need to add some other things, but I think we'll figure that out. Because what we're going to do is we're going to say get the dimension object and then do this. So see, they all have objects with tag dimension. Because let's see, is the floor is a dimension object, the game manager is in tag, this is dimension. We're going to say this is also in the floor layer, and then the player is tag dimension. Okay, and we're going to worry about all the sprites and stuff later, all the visuals and whatnot. So this looks like it's fine, actually. Yeah, because this is going to function the same way. The cat movement's like this, so all we really need, so this block right here, we're gonna add a sprite to it. It's gonna have a box collider. It's very large right now, but we're gonna have a sprite renderer, and we're gonna just choose another shitty UI sprite. What should we pick? There's so many options. Should it be this gray block or this? I really should just import a block, but okay, it will be this slightly gray UI block that should not be used for that. Can you see the color? Yeah, the colors do look different. That's fine. So if the cat, where's the cat initially? We're setting, why is the cat over there initially? Set the cat at 0, 0. Sure. And then the block is going to be, I just like having them at even points. Not that it's going to matter too much. This will be at 0, 0, and we'll move this over by 0.25, and we'll scale it up a bit. But this is all like not super necessary because this is all going to change as soon as we make the assets. But this is kind of how I imagined it to be, about this size, and this is going to be at y = 0. Once again, a lot of these will probably just end up changing, but that's fine. Okay, so we look at the game. This is what our block looks like. The other thing I want to do is attach the camera script, which is in another project, I think, but I would just like to just open, it should say camera follow. So I'm gonna just make a new script here and copy that in. This I explained on another stream, and it's also, this isn't my code, but it was, you know, open and available, and quite useful. So this is it. This is just a script we're using to have the camera follow us. I'm gonna add this component, fix compile errors, no overload for method, change dimension, takes 0 arguments. Aha, you've got me again. So it's saying if we're changing to 1D or not. So if dim, we're gonna pass in dim 1D. If it's false, that means, wait. If dim 1D is false, we've just changed it. If it's already changed it, if it's false, it means we're in 2D. And then, sorry, this is why this isn't very good. So changing to 1D is true, which means dim 1D would be true. So we want to do not this. Oh God, Boolean logic. This is already getting messy. Okay, are my compile errors good? Are you happy? My little compile, or my little, what do you call it? My console is on the other monitor. But let's attach this shit to the camera. Aw, yeah. So now its target is going to be the player, and then that's all we're going to do. Let me just make sure really quick all this works and nothing's exploding. Okay. A lot of things are exploding. Where is the camera running off to? Okay, so the camera's catching up with the cat. That was weird. Can we change the dimension? Okay, I think the cat ran off. Okay, that camera did not want to follow this cat. Let's maybe remove that component really quick. I thought that that would be just like a quick fix. Oh my god. Object reference not set to game object. Okay, so something's going wrong. It's looking at this. Aha, it doesn't like this at all. So let's look at the block really quick. Right. We want to add this. Let's just see. Right, because I had it tagged as dimension, but there was nothing there. So now the cat isn't really moving. And I don't get why, to be honest. Something's like blocking it. Let's see, because I try to do this, and it's as if there's like, oh, you know what it is? I bet this thing has a huge collider. See, yeah, the collider didn't really scale with the block. Aha. Let's see what happens if I remove it and then add it again, if it'll just fit to what we want. Yeah, that's better. That's what I thought. Yep, you got it. You got it for sure. So this is kind of what the 1D world would look like, I guess. But maybe we'd have slightly different sprites. And of course the cat would move in the opposite direction. Then we press shift. Now we have a floor. We jump on it. And now the cat's over there. So let's add the script back to the camera. I think we might have to play with some of the values so that it doesn't get so crazy. But the other thing I want to try, well, first let's try the camera. Then we're going to try putting the blocks at different heights and making sure it renders how we want it to. Aha, see, here's the camera. Here's the camera pulling through. It takes a little bit long to catch up though. So see, we can't move along on this 1D thing, so we make it in 2D. Uh-oh, the cat fell over! Oh my god, that's so cute! But so weird, the cat fell on its butt. Oh no! Kitty, get up! I can't help, I've fallen and I cannot get up! Okay, that's not what I was expecting. I'll have to tell it that it's like rigid or something. Once again, I don't know how tools work. And the camera is once again, it's taking a while to catch up to the cat, which is weird. So, okay. Oh god, it fell over again. Oh no. Okay, we're gonna have to make sure, like, how we can keep the orientation or something like that. When did the stream start? It started about, like, 2.5 hours ago. So, I'm sorry if people have missed some things. I'm making a game. I started out with planning it. I guess if you wanted to catch up, the broadcast will be out right after this. And I'm going to upload them to YouTube. Right now I'm looking up a 2D object orientation, I guess we would say. Like, keeping it... Oh gosh, now I'm getting a lot of stuff on object-oriented programming. 2D object falls on its side. I don't know. Does anyone know how they could keep it, like, rigid body upright at all times? Because it's funny that it keeps, like, rolling around. You can set the freeze rotation property. That looks like something that we want. I'm guessing that's in the rigid body. Is it under constraints? Yes. Freeze rotation. Hopefully this is what we wanted. We're gonna watch the kitty fall over and it'll be very sad. Okay, kitty. 2D. Yay! Didn't fall over! Yay! So, okay, that's how you fix it. Star Wars. Okay, this is very exciting. The controls aren't super tight MLG ready, but I think the other thing is the camera's a little bit floaty, I guess. Look ahead factor 3. So this is what I forget what these things mean. I know how the code works, but then I forget exactly what's making the camera float. Okay, so this is making the camera way more floaty. So let's say we make the look ahead factor like 10 or something. So if we have a big look ahead factor, maybe that'll make the camera snap to the object faster. Oh, okay, that just makes it faster or slower. Okay, so maybe we want it slower. We don't want it so floaty. The other thing, I don't know. We'll just see. I'm just playing with numbers now because it is important to have the camera. So this is going a little faster, but let's see. So if I just like move along. See, I kind of like this too because the whole point of our plan is to make the window small enough that you can't really see what's ahead. And the point of that is because we're going to have this mechanic where it's like you can only be in 2D. So right now we're in 1D. You know, technically we can't jump or anything. Now we're in 2D. So is this camera okay? I don't know. I don't want it to be annoying because it is annoying right now, like for sure. Let's see if it's affected by the damping. Sorry, I just forget like what values those meant. Try the move there number. Do you mean, oh, the move through? Okay, yeah, the damping just makes it a lot slower. I think we actually want damping to be a little bit faster. And then I'm gonna try that move through thing that you suggested. Okay, this is a little bit too crazy right now. So okay, so it's catching up. If you look at the X, it's catching up with the cat. So we do this. So yeah, the camera's moving a bit faster when we turn down the damping. The damping makes it a bit slower. I think this is okay, but it's also not great. So I think you're right, probably. The move through is affecting it. So let's change that to like 0.5. Let's just see. We're just playing with these numbers right now. Because right now I'm kind of, I don't know how to explain it without like just showing you or letting you play it. But right now the cat, oops, the cat is like constantly on the edge of the screen when I'd kind of like it. I don't know, I guess, is this okay? This is okay for now. The camera isn't as annoying as it was, so it's fine. The next thing I want to do is we're going to make another block. And like I said, the goal is to make this so that we could just generate these blocks from text files. We're going to make another block. Let's see, what point is this at? This is at 0.5. So we're going to make this at 1.5. And then we're going to make it at y equals, oops, like 0.5. Yeah, okay. I like how everything's in increments of 0.5. So what we're going to hope for is that that block will just apply the functions we use and it'll map in 1D. So this, okay, I'll show you guys in a sec. So this block, we can't pass it in 1D. This is 1D. We can't pass it in 1D, so we flip this. We say, haha, we can jump. And then let's say our meter runs out, so we can't see where that is. Oh, wait, whoops, 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 whoops. Wait. Aha, I see where I'm going wrong. So what's happening is this is initially in this Y position. What I want, and it's starting in 1D. Aha, I know what I want to do. So we want our restore Y in this dimension object. We want this to just equal whatever the transform's initial Y position is. Transform.position.Y. Okay, instead of 0. Because, you'll see in a sec, I think that's the right fix. So we're going to keep going. Da 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 da. Catman cannot get through the block, so he goes over here. And this doesn't work the way I want it to. It's still like this. See, this is what it should look like in 2D. This is what it should look like in 1D because we're doing like a top-down view. So this is what it should look like in 2D. Right. But what we want it to do is, let's see, if it's restore Y, it's going to change. When it's changing to 1D. Okay, so this is going to be its transformed up position. So we're going to store this wherever we mapped it out to over here, but then we're just going to force it to be 0. So what we're going to say at the start is transform.position equals new vector 3 of transform.position.x, and then we're going to say 0, 0, because we're going to force it to 1D in the beginning. This is maybe a little bit hacky, but I think it's fine. All right, Kitty can't get through the block, so he jumps over it. He falls down. Aha, look, another block. Maybe it's up above. Wait, this shouldn't be down here. This should flip back up. Okay, that is wrong. Okay, let's just go through the flow of the code. So it initializes, it sets restore Y to its transform position that we set in the scene editor, but then we want to force it down to the 1D axis, and it's going to start in 1D. It's going to change to 2D. Let me see. Maybe we don't want this. Let me just see if I change this. I know I'm not thinking very hard about it. So wait. Yeah, let's just see if that was what was wrong, if we've got it opposite or something like that. The cat won't get stuck in the air. I tested it. He gets pulled back down to 0. So let me just check the cat and make sure everything's okay too. So right now it says dim 1D, which is right. The player is in 1D. We switch it. Sorry, just burped. And then we can do this. Let me make sure. Okay, jumping doesn't work in 1D. I don't know if you can hear me, but I'm trying to jump. So I'm jumping. And see, if I do this, for example, he just kind of, they can't share the same position. So then we come across this, and the whole thing is that we don't know if we should jump or go under it in 1D. Aha, so we do that, and then it's like this, and that's how we get around it. So, we go here, we go here, we go here, we go here. So this is how we navigate in this world. Now, if some of you just tuned in, the mechanic behind it is that we have to recharge a meter in the 1D world, and then when we do this in 2D, it expends health quickly. So the idea is also that we only see a very small piece of the world, so that we have to react, we just react, and then by that time the meter's over, and if the meter's 0, we die. And then just to show you, if we switch it to 2D, jump, switch it back, he just snaps back to 0. So we got our system done today, which is pretty sick. Let me just do, what else did we plan? We want to flip the assets, which we'll do assets tomorrow, I think. So we did this. Magic meter. Oh, this is what we need. So we'll have a magic meter that decays if it's in 2D, increases if it's in 1D, and then we're just going to have a flag that tells us if we did it or not. We did the camera. We'll do the victory state, but then we did this. We just need to make sure the sprites work, but we'll do that tomorrow. We'll do that with the assets. So today, all we're going to do some kind of victory, and we're going to do the magic meter, and then we'll be done, and tomorrow, hopefully, we'll just, finish it up. See, this is what I mean. Just doing these, short little exercises and trying to just make something. It doesn't have to be amazing, but this was definitely great practice for me getting back into Unity. So, yeah. So right now we're going to go to our cat and we're going to add an attribute called magic meter. So this will just be I'm going to say it's an integer. I think that's maybe easier to keep track of, but we could have a steady rate of it going down, but let's say we just have an int magic, and that initially is 100, just to make it easy for us to work with. So the magic is 100, and then every frame, if is in 1D, the magic meter will increase. If is in 1D and magic is less than 100, we will say magic plus equals, let's say just 0.1. I'm not sure how quickly this is going to go up or not, so that's one thing I'll have to check for. Actually, this shouldn't be a magic number. We'll say regen rate. All right, and then we're going to have something up here called, well, this will be public as well, I think. This will be public, but then regen rate will not be public. We're going to have let's just say it's a float called regen rate, and then regen rate will be down here, and this will equal 0.1. Okay, so we go down here, magic plus equals regen rate. If not is in 1D, and let's just do this just for a check. Oops, I wanted this to be less than 100. Then we're going to say magic minus equals decay rate. So we're going to make a variable for that too. We're going to go up here. We're going to say decay rate. Let's say this is really fast. So this, let's just say this is like 1. So we're going to have a float decay rate up here. All right, so this is looking good. And then we're going to check from the game manager if it's 0. So we're going to say public bool is victory or something like that. I don't know. Some people hate the like is blank things for the bools, but I think they're fine. So we're going to say is victory equals false initially. And then this is one of our updates. We're going to say we're going to have some kind of victory position, I guess. Right. We'll do that later though. We'll just say if is victory, then we'll do something. We'll like show like victory screen or something. We'll do that tomorrow, honestly. That's pretty trivial. The kitty. Oh, but the whole thing is that if we're gonna say we're gonna actually just have a player object that this thing holds on to. I think the game can hold on to the player without it being too weird. Player, and we're gonna say game object dot find player dot get component. I know it's called cat movement. I should change that, but this will just make things a little easier because now we can say, so this will be player. Oh, right. This is going to be a cat movement player. Okay, yeah, we need to change the script name from cat movement. So we're going to say if player dot magic is less than 1, or we could say less than or equal to 0. Let's do that instead. Less than or equal to 0. Then we're going to say is victory equals, or is game over equals true. So we're going to add that bool too. Public bool is game over. And then over here, we're going to say that is false. And this will probably do like show game over screen or something like that. We might not even need these bools, but that's fine. So this is what we do here. This is what we do here. I'm just gonna say for now, system dot, wait. I forget how to print lines in this now. That's so dumb. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We'll just test this out and make sure that the magic is working. Actually, wait. Unity console printing. How dumb is that? I couldn't even do a hello world because I forget how to do it. Is it like debug something? Just system.console.writeline. Okay. We're just going to have it. We'll just do that for now. System.console.writeline. And we'll just have it write the magic meters value. It'll probably be going crazy on my other screen, but that's right now the best temporary way. And we'll have this system.out. Or system, sorry, I keep getting confused. System.console.writeline. And then this will say game over, just for now. And we'll do victories tomorrow. Let's just get this magic meter working reasonably, and we're going to have to kind of play with the values, so we'll see that. So cannot implicitly convert type float to int. Let's go take a look. That's line 41 in cat movement. Aha! So let's change this to a float, because I think that's probably the best. public, oops, float. I should have deleted this. All right, public float, and this will be 0.0f. Okay. Let's go back. Let's test this out. We're almost there, everybody. Oh, it's debug.log. Okay. Sorry, I forgot all these like dumb little silly things. So we go like this, we go like this, we go like this. Our magic meter is fine. I'm going to put it on player. You should see its magic right here. Oh, we don't even need to output to the console. I'm kind of dumb. Sorry. So we do shift and see how it's decreasing really quick. And then I don't have anything on the console. So I think you were right. It is debug. Let me do that really quick. Let me take these statements out of, let me take this statement out. Let me change this to debug. System.debug. Or is it just debug? Oh my god, this is so dumb. Debug.log. Right. Oh my gosh. I can't believe I'm forgetting these things. Debug.log, game over. Okay, so I'll just have it print a message when it's doing that. Okay. So let's try to solve this, but I'm going to move this block over a bit more so it's a little tiny bit harder to solve than just, you know, doing it. So we'll move this to like position 2. Okay. And then if we do this, we're basically done for today. We did all the goals we set, which is really nice. So cat can't move. He does this. Oh no, but it's falling. Wait. Oh, game over. Here, I'll put this over here. Can I put this maybe in one of these windows? Okay. So you guys can see here, this is where it's going to say game over if we lose all of our C's. So what we're going to do, we're just going to test out. We do this. It's going down. Wait. Let me go back here. Just take a look at the magic right now. See how it's regaining slowly? Very slowly, but this is actually maybe kind of what we want a little bit. I think our regen rate should be a little bit faster than this, but we do want it to be a sense of like, you know, your time in the 2D world is precious to solve those puzzles. Okay, there's some floating point error over there, but let's do this. Yeah, and then do this. See? We almost ran out of magic right there. We couldn't just keep running past it. And so now we see a block here, and we don't know if we should jump over it or duck under it. So this is kind of the issue, but we know to duck, so we do that. It said game over because I think we kind of pushed it a bit. Let's try it one more time. But otherwise, I think we basically got our game working, silly as it is. So we do this, whoop, and then we do this. Okay, so we're back to normal, and then we do this, and then, well, oh, see, we didn't do it fast enough. So probably the timing, I'd have to tweak the numbers to make it feel just right, but I feel like we shouldn't do that until, you know, we actually have a level designed and we want to tweak it and figure out everything. But right now I like the placements in 0.5 increments, like how they're all separated by 0.5. So I'm going to base it around that, around increments of 0.5. But yeah, this is working pretty well. If I keep doing this, the magic's going back down. It's game overing a bajillion times. And then this is regenning again. And so ideally, we would just have this, instead of printing game over, it would just say game over and end our game or send us back to the start. So that's one thing maybe we want to do, is also have something that will like restart the game. Maybe we could do that right now. Let's say we'll show a game over screen. Let's say we have restart. Let's just do that right now and then we'll be done because we did it. Yay! So restart. Aha. So if, you know what we just want to do, let me see if there's a good way to do this. Unity restart scene. I bet we could just load the scene again, right? Because that's all I really want to do. Application load level. This will in fact reset the scene, any static variables. Okay, we're not going to use static variables. I don't like using them. So just to make this easy, we're going to say application.load level. Why is this crossed out so annoyingly? I don't know why it would do that. I hope it works. Let's make sure we've added all of our stuff to this. We're going to go to our build settings. We're going to add a scene, add our open scene, I guess. And so this is 0. We're going to have to change that name though because it's really gross and I named it thinking it was something else. So this is 0. Okay. So what we're going to do, we're just going to make sure our restart is working, and then we kind of went faster than I thought in some ways today. So we do this, and we switch over here, and we're hoping to get a game over. All right, see, we got a game over. We're back to the beginning. So perfect. Actually, let's just do that splash screen really quickly. We'd have a UI element, I'm guessing, appear. Let me see. Unity shows splash screen. I always just like looking it up first because there's a lot of good tips and tricks, I guess. I think we would just do a UI. Let's see. Like if we did this, like if we did an image, this could be totally wrong. No, I don't like the UI stuff, but it's fine. But maybe I don't want to do this today. Yeah, let's do this later. Let's do all the little, we're gonna do all the aesthetics, hashtag aesthetics, tomorrow. So tomorrow our goal is going to be to just, yeah, do the flag and the victories. So, okay, tomorrow we're gonna do our assets. Our assets. All right. So we're gonna make sure that we have all of our player animations, that we have a 1D version of the player. We're going to make a block. We're going to make a flag, 1D and 2D. So these go together. The blocks will be the same in 1D and 2D. So this is its own thing. And then, what did I just say? We're going to have a victory. We're going to have a game over. And then it's just going to be that you click through them to restart the game and stuff like that. Game over. I might not do like a menu or anything because it's pretty straightforward. Victory, game over. We're going to make sure all the like animations and stuff are in place. And then what was the other thing? It was just the flags, right? Yeah. And so then later on, we'll do like power-ups and actually expand the design. Once we have our system in place, we can just start adding things and have fun with making a design. Yeah, so this is my idea for that multidimensional challenge. If you guys would like to try, you can see it only took me like 2 hours and I was messing around at some points. I spent a lot of time planning things out. So yeah, it doesn't really take that long. You just have to sit down and decide like, hey, I'm going to do this. So go to r/thehappymakers, just leave a comment with your project, or, you know, just post threads there if you're confused or you don't know how to start or anything, because really none of this was like crazy math. It was just, you know, Unity, I guess. Doing a Dark Souls character controller. So actually, yeah, that was, I guess while we're wrapping up here, my next big video, I'm going to have a stretch of free time, like a month of just free time. I really was wanting to make a Dark Souls-like AI in Unity, not because of Unity, but just to quickly make something, but to focus on the algorithms behind the AI and see like how we could make it smarter and things like that. So yeah, I'd love to do that. The main thing is, the main block with that isn't so much the algorithm for me as it is like animations. I'm always so scared of art. So I wouldn't, because half of it is making responsive animations where people can visually see like, oh, it's rolling, you know? But if I did just some kind of like, what I'm trying to say is, see how this block is just a generic placeholder block? Let's say this block is a person and I want to signal that the block has a shield. Well, that's normal. I can just draw a shitty shield and have the block put it up. But then when it comes to animations, like showing that the block is rolling or running versus walking or attacking, you know, you need fluid animations that make sense with the hitboxes, and that's actually a lot harder than it looks. So, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Let's see, what day's tomorrow? I'll see you guys tomorrow later at night, because I have to take, like, my last exam, almost my last exam tomorrow at night. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you for joining me on this wonderful game development journey with Psycho Cat and the Orange Hero. Yeah, I'll see you guys soon. I hope you guys join the challenge, because I'm excited to see what everyone comes up with. And yeah, have a nice night or morning or happy day wherever you are in the world.